Hey guys, Kevin Cleary here with a knife video. Today we're looking at the Eutektic Trinity. This is Liang Ma's budget line. And this is, you know, the most compelling knife out of that line, at least as far as I'm concerned. And so I picked one up and I've been able to spend some time with it. I did have a first impressions in which I said, hey, pretty decent knife, but the price point is out of line. And in this follow-up video, I'm going to actually go beyond saying pretty decent. Like, this is actually a really, really good knife. The ergonomics are really, really nice. The feel in hand is pretty good. The micarta feels a little cheap, but it's not terrible. I love the finger choil. I love the blade design, and the cutting edge is nice and thin. And yeah, there's a lot that I really, really like. The ergonomics here are excellent, easy to carry, lightweight for its size. You know, if I were reviewing this as a Civivi, you know, for like, you know, $55 or $60, I would only have two complaints, and I'll tell you what they are. The first one is, I think the front flipper option here is totally unnecessary. It's not very comfortable, and the D10 is just a little too strong to make it comfortable. If you softened the D10 to make it more in keeping with what a front flipper should be, I think you'd wreck the action in terms of a Spidey flick or the back flipper. So it would have been just better to leave it alone. Don't bother having the front flipping option. It's kind of a silly way of doing it anyway. That's my first criticism. The second one is the lock bar is just a little tough to access, especially if your hands are a little bit wet or sweaty, or if it's not, you know, absolutely perfect conditions. Then it gets a little more annoying. So those are really the only two complaints. And so if this was, as I say, a Civivi knife in a budget category, I would be singing the praises of this knife, you're right, to the rooftops. Like, it is a really, really enjoyable knife, and I've enjoyed carrying it and using it. But when it comes to giving a recommendation for it, I just can't, guys. And that's because it costs way too much. $95 for this knife is insane, right? It just doesn't make any sense. You know, this is a great budget knife, but it's just not at a budget price point, which, anyway, sadly means that I can't give it the endorsement that I would like to give it. If you know, really love Liang Ma and you want to support him for that reason, if you know, feel like this would be the most perfect knife for you that's ever been in existence and you're willing to drop $100 on it, hey, great, more power to you. I think you'll get a knife that you definitely will enjoy. All right. On the other hand, if you're looking at this and going, hey, I really like the design, it looks pretty practical, and you know, being built by Civivi, that's great. You kind of know the quality is there. The problem is there are just a ton of knives in Civivi's lineup. The Backlash comes to mind, the Praxis comes to mind, the Insight comes to mind, among others that we could list that are about as good, but are just going to cost you quite a bit less. So there you go, guys. I hate to make these kind of videos. I really do. But this knife is so close to being fantastic, that, you know, I felt like I wanted to make a follow-up just to say that, you know, I did really, you know, carrying this and using it, it really impressed upon me how good this knife is. I do really, really like it as a user, but always in the back of my mind, you know, I didn't like it any better than other Civivis that I love, like the Backlash, which is still probably close to my favorite, or the Dogma. Those are probably my two favorite Civivis, and I don't like it more than those, but I like it as much, which means it's a pretty stinking good knife. Just the price point is way out of line. All right. Great try, Liang. I appreciate that you wanted to come in with a budget line, but a budget line needs to be budget priced. So there you go. That's my final verdict on the the Eutektic Trinity. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you've got one and you feel the same way as I do, I'd love to hear your comments. Or if you feel like I'm completely nuts, I'd love to hear your comments about that as well. All right, we'll talk to you later.